Okay, so Katie, we're going to talk about why we use different pelvic positions, or actually what are different pelvic positions. So as you're laying here, your hips are laying on the mat, right? And you can feel a little bit of a lift underneath your low back here. What she's in right now is considered a neutral pelvis. So I'm going to ask you to take your thumbs and just connect them, and then take your fingertips and just bring them just right down by your pubic bone. Yeah, so we've got this little triangle here. So I want to teach you how to tip those hip bones back in space. So we call this imprint. So your ASIS, which is this little landmark at the top of your hips here, is going to go backwards, and your pubic bone is going to come upwards. Yeah, so keep going, keep going, keep going. See if you can keep those down. Yes. So this is an imprint. So it's just the pelvis is tipping back. And then let's go back into neutral. So your pelvis is going to come back up like that. Good. Hope you guys can see that. Let's do it again. Exhale. Tip back into that imprint. And then bring it back to neutral. Okay, so the first thing here is just getting the mobility. We're trying to make sure that that will move for us. Some people are pretty stiff there and it doesn't move well. The second thing is moving with the right muscle groups. So we want to do this with your abdominals rather than your glutes and your feet pushing down into the mat. So that's another little practice for us to learn. And that requires the engagement of that transversus. So the breath is going to happen, that inhale, that expansion of that rib cage. Exhale, pull that belly button down to your backbone, lift that pelvic floor, and use your abdominals here. So your ribs and your pubic bone are coming together. Good. And then release it and come back into neutral. Good. Let's do that one more time. Exhale. Belly button to your backbone, your abs are engaging, your pelvic floor is lifting. Good. So all those things have to work first before you move the pelvis, right? Okay, let's show everybody why we use this. So the opposite of the imprint is what we call an anterior tip. So can you show them what that looks like? You're going way up. Do you see how her back is arched here? What do you think is happening with her back arched up off the floor? Her abdominals are wide open and her lumbar spine is getting compressed. Those vertebrae are just kind of jamming into each other. And we don't want this, obviously.
It hurts.
Yeah. Well, as some people it actually feels good because it's a nice stretch, but it's really not good for your back or actually learning how to engage your abs. And so this is a position that we can get into when we bring those legs out. So let's go into neutral here first. And then can you bring your knees into tabletop? Good. So unless we're strong enough to engage those abdominals and hold that either in a neutral or an imprint, what tends to happen as we stretch these legs out, and especially as they go lower, is we start to get into this anterior tip. I'm really going to kind of stress you here. Yeah, and we don't want that. We want to get the control in the abs. So that's why we pull her back in and scoop back into that imprinted spine. And your abs are working hard right now, just in the tabletop, aren't they? Yeah. So that's why we use imprint. So it's helping you get that strength that you need in order to support your low back and engage those abdominals while your legs are up in the air. So our general rule is that if your feet are not touching anything, they're in an open kinetic chain, then we're going to go into imprint when you're first learning. Now, as you get better, as you get stronger, you'll be able to do this in neutral, but we don't ever want you to do it in that anterior tip. No bueno, right?
No, never.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.